Okay. Okay, so that's probably what we got. So I won't go over everything you said today, but most of it will happen as we go through the assignment on these 3 short stories in our literature section by Sherman Alexie. Okay. So all right, let's read. Now. Uh-oh, terrible feedback.
Is it the simulator you're talking about?
I haven't looked. You guys are looking for me.
Oh,
I have no idea.
I might.
I was just reading for enjoyment, to tell you the truth. And then I was like, they're so short, we'll read them over and we'll look together. You find them?
I'm not sure if it's simulator.
Where is it?
This is, or can I tell you it, or should I tell you where it is? It's the 4th to last paragraph at the end of. It's grandfather like it was my royal name. Like, is that a symbol?
It's grandfather like it was my royal name. Yeah,
It is?
yeah.
Oh.
It's a little different than the way they're usually written.
Okay.
But it's, I think it's, yeah, comparison, using like.
So you can compare it to something that's not like a noun, because it's just like a royal name. Like you can.
Well, that is a noun.
A royal name?
Yeah,
Oh, that is?
yeah. Name is a
Oh,
noun.
yeah.
It's a thing, it's a.
Even if it's not like an actual name, it's just like.
Yeah, it's a, refers to a bunch of names, it's a kind of general name. Okay. Where?
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, like the old playground. On the right. Yeah. Mhm. Okay, I'm gonna read the first story and then I'm gonna ask someone else to read it as well. Fixed income. So this website, Grumpa's Fiction, has a lot of fiction. Check it out for more stuff. And I landed the McDonald's job. I was surprised to learn that I was the only teenager. I thought fast food was the only place where teenagers could get jobs. But most of the workers were college students or college effing students. I'm sorry, college effing graduates. Huh, so we sense a bit of attitude there already. One of the cooks has an electrical engineering degree, and he's using all that science education to make sure there are 2 pickles and only 2 pickles on the hamburgers. I don't mean to make fun of my coworkers. They're mostly cool. I'm angry at this effing country for making these adults work at McDonald's. The woman who works at the drive-thru is 45-year-old single mother and has 3 kids. How the hell does she pay for anything with her McDonald's wages? And I don't think it's an accident that 99% of my coworkers are Black and Latino. I'm Native American and pretty dark from mixed blood urban Indian. The only thing white in this McDonald's are the effing vanilla milkshakes. Sometimes I feel guilty I have this job. There might be other mothers and fathers who need it, but I ain't like my parents are rich. My mom, the Indian, is an academic advisor at the University of Washington and makes decent cash. But my dad, the white guy, got laid off from Boeing 2 years ago and can't get a job anywhere else. Sooner or later, he's probably going to be making French fries alongside me. I'm saving my money for college. I screwed off my first 2 years of high school, like too many Indians do, so I don't have the grades for a 4-year school. But Seattle has some awesome community colleges. I can kick ass, in my studies there and earn my way into university somewhere close to home. These are desperate times, and I'm not as desperate as a lot of people, but I'm desperate enough to need this job. There's an elderly white man who works here. His reflexes are too slow to use any of the equipment, so he greets people at the door and clears and cleans tables. He's got a sharp mind, though. I like what he has to say. We take our breaks together, we put our coats to cover our McDonald's polo shirts, walk a block, step into an alley, and smoke. His wife died 10 years ago. Old husbands aren't supposed to live longer than old wives, he said. My wife should be the widow sitting with other old widows making fun your dead husbands. He has a girlfriend though, a few girlfriends actually. When you're a single man in the old folks' home, he said, you spend a lot of time dancing with different women. Dancing is what you geezers called it? I said, you're like the oldest playboy in the world. He's a little funny for somebody, but we'll let it slide.
Mary, you might have people turn off their microphones. We're getting some feedback from somebody's microphone.
Please turn off your microphones.
I'm not a co-host, so I can't mute people, but if you can mute yourself,
Okay, let me try.
not you, I mean, have others mute themselves. John, can you mute your microphone? Okay, if you want to talk, you can turn it back on, but maybe that'll get rid of some of the background noise I'm hearing.
Reva, can you mute? I don't know if she's
Um,
unmute.
I think it's coming from John because his screen kept lighting up.
Okay,
I'm not sure Reva's there.
okay. Dancing is what you geezer called it. I said, you're like the oldest playboy in the world. After a few months of cigarette friendship, he asked me to call him grandfather with a capital G. Isn't that what you Indians call your respected elders? He said. Not grandpa or gramps or old man or geezer. It's grandfather, like it was my royal name. All of my grandparents, 2 Indian and 2 white, died before I was born, so I didn't have any traditional elders. I needed a grandfather. I was hungry for a grandfather. Grandfather, I said, it's time to get back to work. He smiled as big as I'd ever seen. He loved the respect. I loved respecting him. In this sad country, respect is the only thing most of us can afford. All right, Sherman and Alexi, that's intense. I'm gonna ask you guys to. I'm not gonna ask you to read out loud because now you've heard it twice, so that's fine for this one. To notice in this story the detail. That's what makes it interesting. Right? Specifics, very specific things. McDonald's is a specific place. It's real. The lunch break, everything about it. He's very observant of people. He's thinking about people's lives, so he's observing other people's lives. He tells about himself, but really, what I could say the word succinctly, SUCCINCT. Just with the littlest space possible and like a lot of information packed in a really small space. This is a really short story. They call these short stories sometimes. So you know that he knows how to write to get that information just right in there about his college situation and we get that character of the grandfather so quickly. What other strength would you say this story has regarding our list of words that I'll put them on the top of this document. We can look at them together.
Can you share your screen, Marianne?
Of
I
course.
think it has a little bit of humor in regards to like his coworkers and the whole racial situation about who works at McDonald's and,
Uh-huh.
you know, those kind of things. It's a little bit humorous.
Yeah, I found it pretty humorous. So we'll put that under tone. As one tone is a humorous tone. What else is its strength? Why do we get to know these characters so fast with such a little short story? Talked about the details, you know, like exactly what that guy can do, the old guy. He can't do this, he can do that. You know, it's just very real, right? Any other ideas about what strength is in this?
That one that I was confused about last week, the like Ferguson or
That one?
it was
Dialogue?
that, yeah, the dialogue.
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 Yeah. Good, I was not in this list. Dialogue. D means two. Those two people usually talking back and forth. How do we know what they're saying? How do we know when they're speaking? They have quotation marks. Some modern literature doesn't use it. In that case, how do we know who's speaking?
He said, she said.
Some, yeah, they have that. That helps. Sometimes they don't even have that. The modern sleek writing.
Maybe like the tone or like how they talk. Right?
You can tell, yeah, partly by how they talk, because you've gotten used to it a little bit. Their character. Yeah, that's a great one. And the other thing is that they change paragraphs.
Oh, yeah.
So if a new speaker speaks, it's a new paragraph. So there's an empty line. And you know they're switching speakers, because sometimes it can be hard to tell if the characters aren't that familiar yet. Okay, so the dialogue, let's look at some of this dialogue. What have we had? We didn't have much dialogue in the last story because he was just telling everybody what to do.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know if anybody said anything for real. There was no verbatim dialogue.
during the valediction,
Mhm.
a lot of like dialogue between him and his friend.
Uh-huh. This one has the dialogue between him and grandfather.
Yeah.
And you just hear him speaking like a person would speak. I think he's very good with dialogue. You know, like you get the humor, like it's like dancing is what you old users call it. Like, you know, it's teasing the guy. And then the like in there, I think is really like when I just said that, like when people say like, I don't think it's really a simile. It kind of works because it's like.
He's not really comparing.
See, it's not really
He's kind of
comparing.
saying that.
Yeah, he's just saying you're the oldest playboy in the world. So there's him and the oldest playboy. It's not really a good simile, so we'll take that off our list.
He said, I thought like all teenagers work at McDonald's. You know, kind of like, I don't know what he's comparing to. It's kind of like,
Well, that really, for me, that just grabbed me right in. I was like, oh, whoa, okay. But there's no like in there, so the simile is very specific, has to have that word like in it, or as. Now, well, we haven't talked about metaphor. We probably will throw that in at the end. I mean, there's so many words we could discuss. I call these school words sometimes because you get them in school and you don't necessarily get them out of school too much. Metaphor is also a comparison without the like. Metaphors are pretty interesting, and we'll work with those a little bit too. They're very creative and imaginative often, but we'll stick with similes today. Look how specific he is about what his mom does. You know, an academic advisor at Washington, you know, so this specific information, you might think it's kind of boring, but it's actually really interesting. Because to me, at least, because it's very real. Like he's just real, you know what I mean? I did have a story about the mermaids I was going to assign you, but it was so kind of not real. It was kind of childish and not modern. So I'm kind of working right this semester with some modern stuff, which I think is awesome. Yeah, so good detail in here. Some good, not a lot of dialogue, but some good dialogue. All right, we're on to our next story. I hope you guys can see. We're on to Honor Society. Wants to read the beginning of Honor Society. All right. I hope we can hear him.
You're like rapping? I'm in the process of saving the purchase fund. No, no, Mike is
I think he has a mic.
Yeah, let me turn that on for him, see it.
I think you do.
Go ahead. Check.
Okay, cool.
Ready?
Take it away.
Okay, this is the Honor Society. On the morning after, it's a lot of feedback.
It's a lot of.
Okay. On the morning after house parties, I gathered the empty, half empty, and nearly full beer cans, emptied them into the sink, crushed them flat, and threw them into the bed of my grandmother's truck. She been dead for 3 years, but it is still her truck. I'm only borrowing it from her ghost. It has over 300,000 miles on the odometer, but I keep it running with tools, prayers, and hand drum honor songs. When the truck bed is filled with cans.
You should read the other.
Oh, wait.
Wait,
Oh, no, what?
it says,
What is
way,
it?
hey, start engine start, way, hey, don't break my heart.
Okay, so that's
Yeah,
supposedly the engine starting.
yeah.
That's the prayer. That's the prayer.
Singing.
Oh, that's his prayer? Oh.
Yeah, like a native prayer, you know, hey,
Oh.
hey.
Yeah, maybe we should switch readers now.
I cannot see that. Yeah, you can go.
Go ahead.
Really?
Yeah,
No,
Oh.
that was great though. Thank you.
Oh, okay, all right, way, hey, start engine start, way, hey, don't break my heart. When the truck bed is filled with cans, I tie a sheet over them to keep them from flying out and drive off my reservation into Spokane, Washington. I'm 17, but don't have a driver's license or even a learner's permit. My family is poor and we can't afford driver's ed. And I can't take driving tests if I haven't passed my driver's ed. But I don't need official approval to drive safely. I obey the speed limit, check my mirrors often, and both hands on the wheel. Way, hey, go, little truck. Speed along with skill and luck. Way, ho, hey, once in Spokane. I drive to the recycling center near the abandoned East Sprague Drive in
Drive in.
the East Sprague Drive-In and sell my aluminum cans for 55 cents per pound. I've done the math. Number one, I need to sell 818 pounds in order to make $450. Number two, I need $450 in order to pay for the SAT prep course that guarantees I'll raise my test scores by 20%. Number three, in the competition to win scholarships and admission into great colleges, a great SAT score makes all the difference. My parents live on government welfare and tribal charity. Their full-time job is sadness. Neither of them graduated high school, and they haven't lived anywhere but on our reservation. But sober or drunk, they have always played hand drums and sang ancient and new songs. Way, hey, I can't win or lose. I got reservation blues. Yeah, hey. Keep going?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, cool.
They have taught me to sing and drum, and though I don't believe in God, I believe in a beautiful song, but I believe a beautiful song is approximately God. So I sing and drum with my mother and father. I sing with my tribe, and I travel our reservation by car and foot to collect aluminum cans. Pound by pound, dollar by dollar, I am preparing myself for the test, for the most important question of my life. Period, or semicolon. or colon. Shall I keep going?
Yeah, please.
Okay. It says, complete the sentence. When the Indian boy poured and decide that he had to his reservation, he felt. You want me to go through these? Okay, one, suicidally depressed, escape like he was trying to save his life. Two, loyal to his tribe, remain on that he had no other choice. Three, very intelligent, help that a college education was vital. Four, devoted to his parents, abandoned them and like a traitor. Five, ambitious, see the world beyond, elated and terrified. Keep going?
Finish it up for it. No, we'll go back to,
Oh, okay.
we'll switch back to our other reader.
Okay.
He don't like saying the hey us.
Well, I think you got the idea better, because. Go ahead.
It's on you.
Oh, me,
When I
okay.
said the- that's a set.
When I take the SAT, I will sing. If only in my imagination, because I can't bring in my real drum, I will sing to lessen my fear. And I will sing about this crazy life. Yeah, yeah, hey, hey, you can't leave and you can't stay. Way, yeah, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah, hey, hey, you got too many questions, too many days. Way, yeah, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah, hey, hey, should you hate or should you love? Way, yeah, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah, hey, hey. The answer is all of the above. Way, yeah, hey, hey.
Great. Thank you, guys. That was great. Really good reading. This crazy life, mi vida loca. Awesome. I'm gonna go in and fill in the complete the sentence, because I did that, because I'm just that kind of person that wants to make sure I know exactly what they're trying to say. It's hard, a little hard to do. When the Indian boy, poor and suicidally depressed, so I'm on number 1. Escape. Wait, when the Indian boy, poor and suicidally depressed, decided that he had to escape his reservation, he felt like he was trying to save his life. So that's one version of him and his crazy life. 2, when the Indian boy, poor and loyal to his tribe, decided he had to remain on the reservation, he felt that he had no other choice. Okay, here's the third version of him. When the Indian boy, poor and very intelligent, decided that he had to help his reservation, he felt that a college education was vital. 4, when the Indian boy, poor and devoted to his parents, decided he had to abandon them, and like a traitor, his reservation, no, wait, sorry. When the Indian boy, poor and devoted to his parents, decided he had to abandon them and his reservation, he felt like a traitor. 5, when the Indian boy, poor and ambitious, decided he had to see the world beyond his reservation, he felt elated and terrified. Oh my God, that's great. So I think he's probably not alone in those conflicts, those inner conflicts. I've heard other people mention that, just because I knew a Hopi woman, I think, who went through a lot of that too, who I was in graduate school with in some classes, and she ended up being a scientist. We read her the first semester, where she is back in Hopi looking at the tailings from uranium, trying to figure out how to get them out of the ground so they don't pollute the water and the air. So she chose to get off and then come back, which is pretty cool, because she brought back all that science skill. So she had that wonderful option. Which option is that on his list?
I feel like it's 3.
Mhm.
Yeah, she got 3. It's not easy to do, I don't think. You know, there needs to be lawyers, people studying the environment, all sorts of jobs on the res need to be filled by college education. True, am I right? And then there's the guilt. Which one is the guilt? 4. I don't know why I'm laughing, but guilt's not a fun emotion. Yeah. And then 5. So it'd be so fun to see what he ended up doing, but the story is over. But I'm pretty sure he probably passed that SAT with the help of his prayers, maybe. And the fact that he's so determined. He figured out the finances. And he's collecting the cans. He's brave to drive without a license, I think.
The reservation only matter.
Not that big of a deal.
I got a ticket out there, bro.
It
Yeah. Yeah, they probably knew I wasn't from out there. Yeah.
Good, running room. Raise around.
Yeah.
All right, love that story.
in
All right, we'll
diesel.
do one more and then we'll take our break and go to our writing assignment. I'm gonna do the brave thing in my little world, which is to make a survey on Zoom if I can, because they're fun. Anyway, valediction. We have a new reader. Okay.
After school, after football practice, every day for 3 years, John and I walked to the grocery store in our little town and bought candy, potato chips, and soda pop. It was a ceremony. We said hello to the old couple who owned the store, stepped into the walk-in cooler, grabbed our cooler drinks, and paid for them in our other snacks, and headed to John's house at night. Depending on what our parents were planning to cook for dinner, it was an average life for 2 average kids. But one day, in November of our senior year, John and I, as usual, stepped into the cooler and grabbed our favorite cans of pop. But then we looked at each other and we had the same thought. I don't know why it happened. Without saying a word, John and I grabbed 3 6-packs of soda and stuffed them into our duffel bags. Carrying the carbonated loop, we paid for our usual junk food, walked to John's house, reached into his bedroom and celebrated. We drank all the pop and wound up on stupid on sugar and caffeine. We could have stolen beer, but we were athletes, and jocks did not get drunk in our school. The next morning, we met up before school, and vowed to never do it again. One time was kind of innocent, but more than that would be criminal. But after practice that night, we did it again. Then again, the day after that, we shoplifted for a week. The thrill and guilt grew bigger each time. We joked and laughed with the old people who owned the store. We paid $5 of snacks and we stole 20 more. Then I couldn't do it anymore. John, I said, we have to stop. We're going to get caught. They'll kick us off the team. They might throw us out of school. Just one more time, he said. Come on, Pete. You're too old to catch us. I can't do it, man.
Oh, cool.
We've always been a mess. I walked home alone while John went to the store. I thought he might text or call me after the store. I didn't hear anything from him. When I got to school the next morning, I immediately heard the bad news. John had been caught shoplifting. I knew they'd wonder how I was involved. John and I went everywhere together. Halfway through first period, I was summoned to the principal's office. He was there with the superintendent, the school counselor, and the football coach. It felt like an interrogation. Peter, the principal, I'm sure you know why you're here. Because of John, I said. Yes, he said. Did you know what he was doing? Were you involved? Tell the truth. I knew that I should confess, but it felt like I'd destroy my life by admitting to the crime. I wonder if John had already told them that I'd stolen nearly as often as he did. Did he do the right thing? Pete, the principal asked again. Were you involved in this? No, sir, I said. They all studied my face. They knew I was lying. They wouldn't let me get away with it. Okay, Pete, the principal said. John already told us he did it alone. I could tell that they hadn't believed him either, but there was nothing they could do. I hadn't confessed, and John had denied that I was a thief too. He was kicked off the football team, sentenced to community service picking up litter around town, and suspended from school for a month. During that month, he and I didn't see each other. We didn't call or text. We've been constantly together for years, but things had changed. I don't know why he didn't contact me, but I was too ashamed to talk to him. I'd let him take all the punishment. I kept playing football. I didn't have to scoop up dog shit while my classmates watched. I wasn't suspended, and my reputation wasn't ruined. I wasn't branded as a good kid gone bad. In fact, some people thought John had betrayed me by shoplifting and nearly getting me in trouble. When John came back to school, he wouldn't look at me, and I wouldn't look at him. The silence went on for the rest of the year. We ignored each other at our graduation ceremony. Our parents ignored each other too. Late that night, at the kegger down by the river, we stood by separate campfires. I didn't drink anything, but he got really drunk. I was worried for him. He caught me staring. He threw his beer into the fire and staggered up to me. He grabbed me by the shirt and shook me. You aren't who I thought you were, he said. Neither are you, I said.
Excellent. They can read it.
Speakers were off. So we can't like hear any of the other people. Yeah.
My speaker is definitely off.
So we won't do any more all room stuff. Yeah, but you heard. Speaker. Yes. For them, they can't hear it. Oh, no, they can hear us. I just don't think we can get that.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, turn the speaker off. Good.
Yeah.
We don't get a lot of people talking, but every once in a while we do.
I think.
And I'd love to hear more people talk, my Zoomies, anytime. Well,
Marianne,
maybe not anytime. Excellent reading. So I just want to say one thing before we look at the story a little bit more. Let me ask you guys a question. Did you understand the story better when it was read out loud than you did when you read it?
Yes. I didn't read that far.
How about the first one?
I almost read that far, but
I actually didn't give you guys a chance to read the other two that far.
I mean, being read out loud, yeah.
Which better?
It seemed like she read it out loud.
Yeah, she reads really well.
She reads really good.
Yeah, and I was like in tune with the characters. And
Yeah.
I really remember stuff.
And she got the tone right, you know,
Yeah.
she reads really well.
Sometimes I get nervous, like the first time you called on me, I got.
Well, you were really great today. I think that I'm suggesting you want to think about your reading. Some people read like this, John, we have to stop. We're going to get caught. Look, they'll kick us off the team and throw us out of school. Just one more time. He said, come on, Pete, I'm too old to catch us. I can't do it, man. You've always been a wuss. I walk him. If you're reading like that silently, just grabbing the words and nothing much else, try to slow down a little bit and give it more energy and more expression, even in your mind. Okay, especially fiction with characters. So I think we've got some great readers in here. This might not apply to anybody, but some people read not great silently. They read like a mushy mess.
Sometimes I have to like reread it.
Yeah,
because, like,
you
I'll
should.
read too fast.
You should reread it to make sure you're grabbing the information you need when you're taking a test. Okay, or anytime. Like if you got a little like messed up, go back and read it that part again. Okay, that's reading skill stuff. Whoa, that ending surprised me. I don't know why. You aren't who I thought you were, he said. Neither are you.
Yeah, he's all wasted or something.
Then they start fighting.
Yeah. It's not the best move. I wouldn't grab her by her sweatshirt.
Right? But he was worried about him too, because they were friends.
Yeah,
He
that's
was like, he was looking, he saw him get all drunk and he was.
And like, sorry for drinking, dude.
Said athletes didn't drink. So is he
Yeah.
drinking?
No,
Our main character, the athletes, he's a drinking athlete now. He's off the team.
Yeah.
His drinking is his sport. No.
yeah, he's not an athlete anymore.
Yeah, is our main character, our protagonist?
He wasn't drinking.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
said that he did.
He wasn't drinking. Okay, so that's consistent. Because they did stand up pretty well for each other during the interrogation.
Yeah.
Like,
feel
I don't condone lying at all, but in that situation,
Yeah.
they showed their friendship. Right? By both denying it, that was friendship right there, I thought.
Oh, was mentioned until the
You
end of
guys
it.
think about that?
I think it was friendship too.
Or,
I think it would be messed up.
Because he did not know. You have to say no, even though you did say, okay.
do you mean just being strategic, like,
I mean, so his friend said, his friend committed to the crime, but him himself denied it,
Well, his friend got caught, so he couldn't deny it anyways.
but he could have brought him down.
yeah, he didn't
Yeah,
bring him down. And then luckily, our main character here kept the consistent lie going so that he didn't get brought down. It was a gamble. You just have to decide what you're gonna do. That's why they separate people, right?
Yeah.
we had a comment from Paige.
So one guy got out, one guy had better luck than the other one. But
Nope, I'm
he
not.
was really smart to not do it again. That was a great decision by this kid.
And
I
I
thought-
kind of feel
I was
like
like, that's it.
shows in the story that, because earlier they said that they're athletes and they don't drink. And I feel like it shows how his friend isn't an athlete anymore, and he might have went down the wrong path while he like still didn't drink everything.
Yeah, he got caught up in some dumb stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, unless
Yeah.
he wanted to go with the team.
I don't really think they were friends, like, why did they talk afterwards? Like, they didn't get in trouble together. so,
Yeah, they let like the whole shoplifting team.
They did. But again, they made such different choices that they were probably just like, later for
Yeah.
you.
And like.
I'm
towards
not
the
doing that
end-
again. And he was like, later for
Yeah.
you, I'm gonna like do this because it's fun to me somehow. It's
Yeah.
exciting, thrilling. So,
And his friend was like, "You've always been a wuss."
oh yeah, where is that?
When,
His friends
the
probably-
protagonist was saying like he can't do it anymore, and stuff,
Oh yeah, so it's like a judgmental thing, like
like, man, you've always.
Marianne,
that was where their characters, one was like really into being
That might have
maybe
like
more
shown his true
risk
colors.
taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, their true colors kind of came out there. Yeah, like I'm more daring and bold than you,
Yeah.
and then did something pretty stupid.
Marianne, can you hear me?
There's some kind of expression like that. Once is dumb, does it, and then two is just dumb. I mean, just dangerous. There's an expression.
I feel
Look
like
at
I've
it.
heard something like that. before.
There's something like, yeah. And then there's one like hurt me once, my bad, and
Oh
hurt,
yeah, hurt me twice, shame on you, or, and then hurt me 3 times, shame on you.
shame on me. Yeah, it switches.
Hear us from page?
Okay. Good.
No honor on.
Yeah, that's a good one. No honor amongst thieves. But he was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. It was such a good, just a good instinct.
Yeah.
Just like, boom, no, done. He was like, no, I'll do it one more time. No, he was just like, done. I like the beginning when they look at it and they're like, teenagers are like that. They get these weird ideas in their
Yeah,
head
they're like,
and they look at each other and then they do it.
Yeah.
It's great. What is up with that? Interesting. Okay, so that's our third story. Let's just talk about one of the strengths of this story that's not in the other stories. Let's look at our list at the top of the page. We have setting, where it's set. So they're not that different.
Down your.
The narrator, I'm gonna let you guys figure out what person, don't say anything. What person this is written in. They're all, I think they're all in the same person, if I'm not mistaken. Don't say anything. The point of view, same characters, the tone, the dialogue, the plot, the audience. I don't know. I'm not really fond of audience actually as a definition because it's for everybody. Everybody's reading the story. It's online, but sometimes you might think they're writing it for a specific audience. Like young
People
adult
in
novels,
school,
obviously,
yeah.
they're written for young adults. Symbols. We're not gonna probably get into that unless you guys have seen a symbol already.
well, like I said about like the drinking thing, I kind of think it symbolizes how he's not an athlete anymore when they said that he's like really young.
Yeah, that was a way of just showing something without explaining it, that he
Yeah.
that became turned this corner.
Yeah. Like
Mhm.
how he's different.
Yeah, that's also part of another part of this list of words, which is something we haven't talked about yet, which is what? The word that means the events that happen as they happen, one and next thing.
Climax?
Climax is part of what?
The,
What?
Like the top of the event.
Yeah, it's the top, like the top of the events, probably
turning point.
when they were in being interrogated. It's kind of like the worst point, the most tension in
Yeah.
the story. And then there was the
And then it
release.
dropped down after that. They stopped.
And those are all three parts of what?
The plot.
That's right. So we haven't gotten too deep into the plot. I know this is the French word, means when it's released, and then there's the setup. At the beginning, you're just getting like the lay of the land, like who these people are and what are they doing?
Which is like the
But the plot, so anyway, keep that in mind for this story. What about the plot compared to the other stories?
Well,
so
the.
McDonald's, they went out and smoked. What happened in the second story? Like, what happened in the second
He
story?
was talking about, his options, maybe
Mhm.
like how his future could be.
Yeah, so it's like an
Talking about
internal
different
dialogue more, but the plot was just like him picking up cans, right?
Yeah, kind of figuring out how, like, he worked his way around poverty.
Yeah. But in terms of action, there's not a lot. He's just
Yeah.
picking up cans,
Mhm.
like the real time action, the things that are actually happening. Then there's his own internal dialogue, you know, his own internal thinking in that story. So what about this story? Do we have any plot elements? Yes.
Yeah.
That's a rhetorical question, Mary Ann, because there's obviously has much more plot. So when I say rhetorical, are you guys familiar? Let me write that in here because that's a good word. Rhetorical means it's just,
Just answer that you already know. Like,
yeah, it
obvious.
does. Yeah, it's like, it's just a speech making thing. You know, you just rhetoric is speech making. You're just making a speech. You're not really asking.
Hmm.
So I ask a rhetorical question because obviously that story has quite a bit of plot. Action. Stuff that happens, right? This happens, that happens, this happens, that happens. And then we have our climax in the sheriff's office. Was it sheriff or who arrested them? That was the principal did that. Thank you.
The
Yeah, the
superintendent
interrogation.
and
The
school
schools,
counselor.
the schools officials.
Yeah, and the football coach.
Yeah. So
Some cops do that sometimes. They'll say that like their friend like snitched them out to.
They
get
do that on
them.
TV.
Really?
A lot, but do they do
Yeah,
that in real
play-
life?
Yeah, they'll play back and forth. I've been in situations too in the past and, yeah.
You have to like psych it out whether they are telling the truth.
Sometimes
My friends and I
I
would, like,
would just,
Plans.
yeah,
and
take
do-
it all on the chin and just be like, it's all me.
I would.
Do your time, get out.
Just so that you don't have the guilt of messing up somebody else's. That's very noble.
No.
Thieves.
Down for my crime, give me my sentence.
What did you say? The honor of thieves?
Yeah, no honor amongst thieves.
There is honor amongst thieves sometimes.
If they all have a common hustle or a common, if they all have a common thing that they're trying to reach, an amount, a job.
And if your intentions aren't to like hurt anyone, sometimes it could be maybe.
There's the loyalty and the good intentions.
Yeah.
There is honor among
And-
thieves, perhaps. So,
Yeah, I think it's very like debatable and it
Thieves
depends
is
on what type of
really-
thieves are
really
because
cool.
there's such a strong phrase, like there's like murderers and then shoplifting.
it's true.
and
I
they
think
both
that's a
get
phrase to
classified
make
as-
thieves seem like bad, and they aren't
Yeah.
bad.
I think so too.
Lock picking devices like credit card readers and their tools are like pretty cool. Mechanical, technical standpoint.
This is being recorded, by the way.
Like the act of thievery in itself should never be done. That's just illegal.
I agree. I agree. All right, very good. Let's take a 10-minute break. And I'll just see you a quarter after. And we'll go from there. Thank you.
I get this fixed. Mary Ann, can you hear me?
Gotta turn this up. Question?
Yeah, well, we've been trying to get your attention in Paige for about the last 20 minutes. But I guess you couldn't hear us.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, it's very hard for me to watch the chat. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, we've been speaking in the microphone. Are your speakers turned down?
Yes, I turned them down because there was feedback. I'm sorry
Well,
about
I
that.
think the feedback is maybe when Robert is trying, or someone else in the classroom is using their microphone, you need to turn yours off. And then when they're done talking, or when they're done with, reading, have them turn their mic off and you turn yours on. Because nobody on Zoom is.
So sorry about that.
It's okay. Anyway, we're just learning and troubleshooting, but that would be a way to eliminate.
It's not the mic, it's the speakers. I should have turned the speaker back on.
Okay. All right, it could have, you might try and see if Robert is reading and has his mic on, if you turn your mic off, that may do it as well.
Yeah, it's the speaker that was giving the feedback.
Okay,
But we'll turn the speaker back on. I'm so sorry.
that's all right.
I could bring a transcript from that discussion next class. I
No,
think
we
the
could
Zoom is
hear
making
you.
a transcript.
We
is
could
it-
hear you. We just, when they had comments they wanted to add to the discussion, we couldn't tell you them because we couldn't get your attention.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Do they want to put that in the chat now or is it too late?
And now I think it's probably
Time has passed.
time has passed. But that's fine.
Shoot.
We'll get it solved for another day.
Okay, we will work on feedback and then turn down the speaker
I
and
think
then turn it back on so
I
we
think
can hear
the
you
only
guys.
issue is when other people are reading and then having to deal with all the technology, turning things on and off is probably the big issue. And I guess we can experiment with, instead of having them turn their mics on, like having Robert turn his mic on, maybe just see if you put the classroom mic into the classroom on one of the desks, if we'll be able to hear
Really
it.
only reaches to that first row is the problem.
Okay. But will it pick up? It may still pick up voices that are farther back.
Okay.
You have on this solution together during the break. Maybe we can come up with a better protocol. I'm so sorry you guys didn't get to contribute. Yeah,
There's a setting that you
okay.
that can end audio. And you have to press it.
Can you unmute maybe, I won't remember, that's the problem. Unmute everybody. Huh? You guys can unmute after you talk. If we can remember these, it's a problem.
These are desperate times.
Isn't it? What is an assembly? I don't know what an assembly is.
I found that one was like, I'm hungry for a grandfather.
Because he didn't have this.
Let's look at this, the last story. Right here, it says. She had an intention grabbing laugh, high and far ranging like a gull's. So you've got like her laugh and a gull. Those are so different, but you hear her laugh because we kind of know what a gull sound like.
Yeah.
So you're comparing two things like. You know what I mean? Comparing two things. That are really different. That's the like in there. And then on her hair, the sound of it like a crackling fire is also like not what you would imagine a comb being. So it's like combing hair and a crackling fire. Really.
I don't think
Yeah,
that's
that's just-
static like a chick, when her hair has static in it.
Just chiz.
That's what
Sounds
my
like
hair
that.
was this morning.
Yeah.
That's a comb. Oh my God, this tech is hard when we have an inadequate mic. It's like we can.
You didn't speak out loud, how would we communicate?
Sign language.
Yes, I'm
Well,
like.
the thing is, if everybody's mic is on, then
Feedback?
yeah, feedback, in this case. Because I'm picking out slight hints of them. No, because he had a mic, and if he turned his mic on, if everybody was able to talk,
Yeah.
then you would always come to the feedback, especially in this room. However, if,
That speaker was going nuts.
yeah, because that's because your mic is on and his one.
What was the mic that was causing the feedback?
It's having two mics in the same room going on.
Okay.
So when you have one person have one mic, or he walks up, he talks to that one.
It's so unspontaneous.
Because so these computers are muted right now, they're not, they're supposed to have one enough.
if they have a, if this was sitting in the middle of the room, you guys could all turn off your mics with this on.
Yeah, it should be multi-directional. It should have a wider range.
How many decibels is it?
Beyond, there's like unidirectional, there's like, cardioid mics. for vocals. Yeah, that's for, probably for the whole side.
I'm gonna talk to the tech guy. I'll be right back.
Nice mic. Throwing that away, let me know, I'll take it on. Need your sound effects, what do you do?
Well, you know, like simple like page flipping, crunching paper to make it sound like you're walking.
Oh, sampling and
You know, stuff like that. And getting like the tools, like the spring, yeah, sound like a really good foundation or something. You know, and then
I can
mentioning
do that with my sampler, it just, it takes a lot, takes much. I make beats, compose beats, like drums and instruments. stuff.
making sound effects and then compiling it to a usable file.
Yeah,
And then having to link that file to
it skills
the
and
script to make it play. Because you do like animation, but then sound files you can download free. But if you have like something that doesn't kind of sync up, you can make your own or.
Put it off a little bit.
Get more punchy, make it more. I think also some people didn't get the file share. I think we're just bypassing the share. Otherwise, we're gonna like set. Other share.
Can you guys turn off your lights or mute the lights? Let's see if this, he has a mic, this is the best. Cause I really.
That's mine.
Yeah.
Okay. That's yours, came out?
I'm not even logged in.
Oh, that's right. You can't just have a,
I have no.
you don't know my, that's right. Shirley, can you talk? Oh, hello? Hello?
Carl and
Okay.
You don't have my.
Bad boys only.
Hi, you guys, we're back. We're gonna do a little sound test here. To see which computers here have mics, and then when they want to speak, they can turn on their mic. And then they can turn it back on. Meanwhile, I have to turn off this mic. My mic.
You want to see what happens?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now, between these, we are going to. I'm going to turn off my light. I'm gonna turn off my mic.
Hello? I'm trying to see what they.
Can we just have someone on mute on Zoom? Sorry, just say a few words for us. How about you, John?
Good morning, everybody.
That worked.
My name's
Where do we hear?
City.
Okay, thank you, John.
Yep.
Remember that, send that audio from your. Phone to that as well.
Somebody, let's have somebody speak in the class. Everybody mute yourselves in the classroom and then, yeah, mute yourself. And then let's have someone talk with the mic. Is everybody muted? And then speak into the mic. Yeah. Can you hear that? Say something like, I am making testing.
They won't able to hear people from outside because they have no earphones. There's no speakers on all of these.
Oh. And they might not have speakers at
We
home.
do have like earbuds at the desk.
A work in progress. We'll just keep going with it and eventually we'll
Yeah, we'll go with it.
get with each other. Okay.
Turn on the volume.
John, can you go ahead and turn off your mic?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that right. Yeah.
Just no.
Actually, the tech guy in here, the IT guy.
Yeah, we need an IT guy full time.
ponds in the class.
Yeah.
Some of them have like icons. Uh, I know if you break that line.
Yeah, all these cameras have mic, but the feedback.
The feedback will be a minute to go.
Yeah, it's-
Works.
Yeah.
Marianne, maybe another thing would be if someone's gonna read, maybe they could move closer to the front of the classroom. So they're closer to the class mic.
Yeah, we just got an extension for the class mic. So
Hello,
that
hello.
will
Yeah.
help. Yes, good idea.
Here, Robert.
That camera.
But he also has a voice that carries very well. I can hear him a lot of times on the class mic.
Did you hear Lana reading?
Is she reading right now?
No?
Like,
Before, did you hear her when she was reading?
Uh,
Second-
read one of the stories?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can hear her.
hear her. You touch
just
the
the
mic.
microphone is maybe, yeah.
So, unless everybody has earbuds, you turn off that, we all have microphones.
Earbuds and a mic.
Well, you just have earbuds, right? You won't be speaking. But that would be off itself. There won't be an echo in that one.
But then she would have to talk sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's like, so you have to turn that off, and she is to speak during the audio.
I'm a little overwhelmed, honestly, by the tech right now, but we'll figure it out. At least we have the mic in the middle of the room.
Yeah, but you're gonna hear an echo no matter what.
I have to turn off my mic.
No, because if you turn off the mic, you won't be hearing it.
That is volume, because you can turn off your mic so they can't hear you.
I got, what are those earphones?
Well, let's move on today and then we'll keep working on this challenging project. I wanted to try a survey, but
Yeah, you have too many cameras on.
I don't
Mics.
even want this one. Open up the document that I think most of you have that document open. The Saturday Rumpus fiction. I would like you guys to hold on just a second, write a paragraph. Using all of those words, okay? Not the similes examples I give these, I give below. If I could only type. So I would like everybody to choose one of the stories. Your favorite. And use just write a paragraph saying. I really enjoyed the story and give the title. The setting was cool. It was McDonald's in a small town near a reservation, etc. So use all those words. The point of view, it was in this person, either first, second, or third. The I is first, of course, second is you, because you're right there, you. The third is he, she, it, or the names, we know this, yes. And then talk about the tone, talk about the dialogue. Any plot elements. Let's take out audience for now.
Marianne, can you share your screen?
I'm not sharing my screen. Thank you. Thank you so much. Try to share my screen. So, do you think this is written for other Indians? Or not? Or could, let's leave out audience and symbol today. Well, leave in symbol as an optional thing if you guys think you found a cool symbol, okay? So please write a paragraph. Using all of these words in it. And it's going to be rough. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, it's going to be rough. I'll print you one. So save this document under your own name, okay? That way we don't all write on the same document. I hope everybody can do that. So save this document under your own name. And then you can get started on that after you decided which story you like the best.
Guys, I'll just on paper. Okay.
Need a copy of this too, right, Shirley? Are you good? Shirley? No, she's wearing the things. She'll never hear me again.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. No, we're happy. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. That's one. Mic 1, mic 2, and mic 3.
We only
You gotta turn off of 1 and 2. You want to hear people, or you want to hear people. No matter what. No matter what you're going to try to do. Yeah. Reason why, because that is getting that. So, why? That's why they're audio sound. So
That's why I turned it off.
if you turn it off, we won't hear anything, but now we can hear you.
There,
Yeah. So,
I changed it to that one,
Okay,
so I left these other two
but
off.
it'll be good when I come in tomorrow. Oh, I'm trying to.
Are you able to save that document on your own name? So you can write on it without us all writing on the same document. Save it under your own name, or you can write it out by hand. No problem.
You could be talking so low, the mic can hear.
yeah, yeah.
You're talking so low. You can hear. So we have to speed it out for them to hearing it out. People on Zoom. Yeah. You talk low, like they won't hear you. It sounds like you talk.
Normally. So,
You probably have to talk with Donovan. Or the adult ed, it's their own. Yeah. Well, okay. Working equipment, that's all.
I was just.
Yes. I think, they want to call it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Say this.
So, no option. No, I mean, make copy. Make copy.
I was able to save this under your name.
If one of the students can make a copy, or any copy. I know I heard maybe can't. We'll take one of the students.
And after that, you don't do.
John? Wait,
You can.
John, could you speak up again?
Yeah, hello.
Oh, we got you.
It's, they put their.
Thank you.
You want me to mute it again?
Yeah, please. Thank you so much. Yes, please mute.
So when they mute, you can't really hear that. You have to tell them to unmute themselves. So,
When they want to talk, they need to unmute
Yeah.
themselves. And if we want people to read out loud, we just.
World,
we
right?
have political- so they want to read
I was barely heard her say the
done with
same.
that mic.
Well.
right now they have like the
Something kind of
earbuds,
weird.
they really don't need that mic.
The earbuds have mics on them?
Yeah,
But she doesn't have any of that, for instance. She'd have to use the.
That's a mic.
You're
So
you,
if you pretty much have.
We're going to use it for difference.
you're gonna write a paragraph. All those words above,
Okay.
so you can just write it right on that same document. You Just say, you know. This
Oh,
story
it's at the top. Setting.
should like, yeah, just, once you have your own copy. You can just write on it and then tell me. I'll use all those words in the paragraph.
Okay.
If you could want it as a mic, as a mic. Yeah. Yeah. Person.
Yeah, it has to be, up and down. There's a.
Like, rather than.
But we just call it put mic. P-U-C-K. Mic. So this top one is. So it's very on speakers. That real test audio. So before your class, you can just test your microphone. Maybe you can test it out. If you need someone to help you test. Like.
Okay, that's really good.
Yeah.
And what's gonna be recorded is all another issue.
Recording.
I'm sure it'll be my mic. But. The line of words.
All right. So. That's your copy of the. one you said.
Which story? Guys, also give your story, give your paragraph a title. You can use a simile. Crazy like a fox. That's a
Crazy
good
like-
simile. Crazy like a fox. You can put whatever you want. Use a simile if you can, please. No, you're just using the words that you need to write out one of those. This story has a child plot. With nothing else, or whatever you want to say. Okay? So that I know you know all those words.
How are you? You frustrated?
The class is too hard for you? You don't know what's going on in the class? Reading? It's not like a math class. This is an English class. Okay, it's pretty different. Okay. But you just did talk about the math. Oh, look, there's on the chat. Yeah, there's a lot going on. You don't know how to copy and save in a Word document? It says, okay, it says file, and then it says make a copy. You see that? You never opened the file in the first place? Are you on campus? Oh, see, that's a big problem. You need to get on campus. Is that possible for you?
You can also share with me. Share with me.
Do you know Bina? Do you can't get on, can you get a link? Open it from that link?
Look for sure.
didn't realize we know our campus. Somebody wrote on the document, let me send you this link. I'm going too fast is the problem. I did say it several times. You're taking all these words, using them in a paragraph. Talk about one of the short stories. Okay, we have 3 little short stories. You're going to use these words. You're going to say the setting is, you tell me where the setting is. Were you here for that class, the setting? You know what it means? Okay. All right, let me think about it, Binod. You can talk next class. I'm not sure what to do. Because I can't just do the same material over and over and over again. So it's gonna hurt. Gotta figure out what I can do. I already talked about this for 2 different classes. I think you were here, right? Weren't you there? No, I get it. You can't get me. You can't ask a question is your problem. You can't ask a question because you don't have, do you have a microphone? You didn't have enough time to read the story. What are the classes you're taking? Don't do a lot of reading and math. Okay, let me think about it.
Marianne, can you go back to the questions?
Question?
Oh, I was asking, can you go back to the questions that we're doing the summary on? I forgot to look at or take a picture of it.
Oh,
But-
yeah,
Awesome.
these words you just use in a paragraph to
Yeah.
describe. Okay, there you go. Someone put some pink on there, some red on there.
Marianne, if you open the annotation bar, you can clear that.
Okay.
Go to the top of your screen. And I think it's the 3 dots and go to annotate.
I got it. Thank you.
And then, okay, you got it, clear.
Copy is on my drive. Unless you want us to send it to a file on your drive. Then
And then the M428. That's the end of our class today, guys. If you want to stay and work, that's fine.
Marianne?
I'll be right there. Getting our line. Question, yes?
Oh, sorry, I found your email. That's
Bring
what
it
I-
back. Wednesday. Yes, I'm sorry.
you want us all to share with you?
Yes, share it with me, please. Let me put my name on the board.
Do
you
we
guys
email
need
it back
get-
to you?
We need to get the documents somehow. So if you want to share it out of Google Drive, I'm going to put my name in the Zoom. Share it to me. If you're done. See if I've gotten those.
Yeah, I'm new to this too, so we'll see how it goes.
That. All right, guys, thank you for your hard work and concentration. Please feel free to stay or you go and I'll make sure I get everybody's paragraphs next class. If I haven't
Thank
seen-
you.
Oh, very good. It's just like so complicated.
So,
Let me put that back up there. So I'm sorry, so you can see my email name. I'll put it on the board too. MARYANN. I can't have everybody like on Zoom, not on Zoom, on Canvas, not on Canvas, on the phone, doesn't have document access. Like this has to be, you know, kind of fixed up. Everybody has to be on Canvas or I have to know you're not. Okay, so we need to get our act together and it's It's everybody helping each other. Hopefully, we can get this together. So we
I
can all
know,
engage.
trying to
I
figure
I
it out.
can't be watching the chat and teaching the class all the time. So I'm hoping we can get some of those questions answered before class. Thank you, guys.
I think he needs to, you probably wanna blow it up so they can see it on the.
Okay.
No, so. Well, that works.
There's my email, so you can send me your wonderful paragraphs. Thank you, guys. And everybody, get on Canvas, por favor. If you cannot get on Canvas, let me know now or before class.
How the hell you get on Canvas?
Got a quick question. What's this lesson like?
I think on mine, I need to do my placement.
It's what they call reading. Okay.
Yes. Good job. Yeah.
Hey. You know.
There we go. It's simple. Now I took your notes, okay. Okay, let me see. Oh, there it is. Check. Come over and look. I'm sure. Oh. It's not in here. No. Let me look at my other account. Hmm. Is that computer still on? No. Yes. Oh, they save it and then. Were you in campus or were you just on the computer? I was in campus. So there's hope. Coming on next class? Is it Wednesday? Yeah. I just started again, so. Well, hopefully they'll find it on you. Is it good? You have to write it over. Thank you.
I just sent you like a text thing, like in, I don't know if that's like fine.
Can you look on here and see
Like I just control, C, control, V it and.
the chat? Oh, to my email.
Yeah.
So it should be in here.
Cause I was,
How fancy that is. I don't see it.
oh,
You
Cat
see it?
Richards.
Oh, there it is.
Yep, that's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you usually go by, oh, you go by Cat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, you got mine too.
I did. Okay. Thank you. You're still on the Zoom. Cool. I'll check it out and I'll give you some feedback on that and send it back. Thanks, Latonia. Am I saying that right?
Thank you. Have a good day.
Am I saying it right, Latonia?
Yes, you are, Latonia.
All right. Have a great day. Thanks for
Thank you,
everything.
you too.
Thanks for your hard work.